welcome to Wigan TV. Just myself and Stu at this moment in time. We will be joined by Matt, who, by the looks of it, Stu, looks like he's wandering the public houses of York at the moment. So whether we get a sober Matt or not later on, I'm not entirely sure. But he will be joining us in 10 minutes or so. What a week, Stu. I don't really know where to start. I think we should start with the bigger news. Let's get straight into George Burgess. Now, before we came on, Stu, we've not had a chance to catch up. If anybody was to have anything negative to say about George Burgess, it's probably you. Now, how do you feel? How do you feel about it?
I'll tell you now. I'll tell the peeps that's watching tonight. No negativity. Everything hunky dory. Absolute over the moon, buzzing.
Yeah,
brilliant. Honestly, my mate's gone. My mate's on holiday. Gone. Honestly.
And is your mum happy with George Burgess?
Oh, she ever happy, Sean. You know what I mean? Sean, all I'm saying is, I'm my mother. She's maybe not doing it tonight because she's babysitting my niece. So we've maybe escaped. So just I'll warn you.
So everybody that's watching, tell us your initial thoughts of George Burgess. I mean, it is a significant signing, isn't it? I mean, Ian Lenigan in the press release said it was a signal of intent for Wigan. I mean, I can't really. I mean, if you were to try and think of a signing that was like it, you're probably looking back at Stuart Fielden, aren't you, in terms of something that's comparable, but then the circumstances are a little bit different. I mean, what kind of impact do you expect him to have? What position? You know, obviously he's a prop, he can play at 13. Do you think we've perhaps got him earmarked as somebody that can fill in that void between Sean O'Loughlin and then Morgan Smithies getting to be a starter?
Yeah, I think he's going to be that kind of player where, how could I put it? Is he going to be the new man of the people? You know what I mean? We've seen what he's done for the Rabbitohs, seen what he's done for England. There's definitely one thing he'll do. He'll put plenty of grunt in the pack. And I think with him and Mitch Clark, what's been needed over the thing. But it definitely put bums on the seats. Do you know what I mean? And obviously, Bevan and French coming is here now. Obviously, we've seen videos and that. It's great. It's absolutely fantastic, honestly. And let's hope he plays next week against Hull. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah.
Spencer says Trent Barrett probably is an equivalent signing. I think you're probably right, Spencer. It does have that kind of feeling about it. I don't think there's any mistake or anything missing the fact that Wigan are sort of publicising the renewals of season tickets at the time, and rightly so. You know, considering where we've been this season to where we are right now. There's a lot of positivity, a lot of off-field positivity from Wigan, and we're starting to produce on the field as well. Spencer again says the club have done an amazing job. There is a real feel-good factor at the club at the moment, I think, amongst fans. And one of the big things about that is that Justin Holbrook's off as well. So although they've just got to Wembley, it does feel like there's a little bit... it does feel like a good week to be a Wigan fan, doesn't it?
Yeah, shadow of a doubt. Absolutely. Do you know
what I mean? No, in terms of so Carol says, I hope he doesn't come over with the "do you know who I am" attitude. The Wigan fans will eat him alive. I think that's probably one of the reasons why he's coming over, is to get away from that the pressure that's in Sydney on him and his family. You know, he's Sam Burgess's brother in a lot of aspects, isn't he? But he's a fantastic player in his own right. How do you? Am I being overly optimistic by the fact that we've got George Burgess? Is that just, in a few years' time, if the brothers want to sort of reunite, we've got a base for them now? Do you think that might happen in a few years' time? We might see the three Burgess brothers reunite in the cherry and white?
All I can say is, after this week, where it was mentioned that it was coming, and rumours have been like on social media, honestly, if they want to come, bring them in, get them in. If we've got room on the cap and we're not daft to be fined and dock points, let's have them. Why not?
So I think it was clarified earlier on in the week as well that George Burgess is coming as a marquee player as well. So we've got two marquee players again next year, George Burgess and Jackson Hastings. And with Bevan French, who we'll talk about in just a little while as well, all of a sudden the Jackson Hastings signature of a few weeks ago has all been overshadowed by the news. But what a squad that we're building. When you look at that, can you think of a time, because I'm really struggling to, where there's been this much optimism about a season ahead with the recruitment. Do you think that Ian Lenigan and Chris Radlinski have learnt from perhaps the past few years about, we've perhaps had underwhelming recruitment? We've always done well, but do you think that this is a change of direction from Wigan, and we might see this now over the next few years?
Yeah, I think it is. I think they've been, how can I put it? I'm always one for letting them too, but this time, brilliant. You know, what they've done, they've definitely done it. Maybe something to do with the old Edwards thing, you know what I mean? Maybe being embarrassed with that. Let's just hope it's not a handshake, you know what I mean? Let's just hope that. That's what I'm going to say on that. So there you go.
Yeah, I'm sure they've learnt a lesson from that. I don't think there's going to be any more handshake deals done as far as Ian Lenigan and Chris Radlinski are concerned. We'll part the George Burgess signature for a few minutes until Matt joins us. I'm sure Matt, after a few pints, will have something to say on that.
There's been cloudy lemonade there.
The other news that obviously came before that, you know, again, probably been a little bit swept under the rug with George Burgess signing. Bevan French has signed. He's signed from now. He's over here. He arrived today. There's videos on Wigan's Twitter of him being at Robin Park today as well. The reason why we brought him in earlier, apparently, is so that he could get a visa because of the number of NRL games he's played. So if he tried to sign in for 2020 and he didn't play again for Parramatta, he would have struggled to get the visa. So it is very much a convenience thing that we signed him. And interestingly as well, Adrian Lamb coming out saying he doesn't know exactly where he's going to play in 2019, which suggests he might know where he wants to play in 2020. Where this has been the big discussion. It's nice. It's a nice problem to have, but where would you like to see somebody like Bevan French, who is a running, attacking, very fast threat on the pitch? Where would you like to see him for the rest of 2019?
I would put him on the new golden edge. Well, let's just say we've always had the golden edge, so let's create a silver edge. Let's put him on that. Do you know what I mean? Why not? Because, as you say, the videos I've seen of him is electric, and why not? Do you know what I mean? If you've got somebody like that to burn, well, use him. End of. Do you know what I mean?
Spencer, I feel like I'm just putting all of Spencer's comments up at the minute, but he reminds me of famous Amos. You know, Amos Roberts wasn't a bad player to have, particularly in the start of the 2010 season. You know, and if he didn't get injured at fullback, who knows where Sam Tompkins may have ended up. But well, I guess one of the things that we might see from Wigan, and where I assume that he might play over the next few weeks, is perhaps off the bench and have that impact off the bench after 50 minutes, 60 minutes or so. Just throw him out there as a sort of versatile player and let him run at teams when they're a little bit tired. But you know, where he goes longer term, you know, perhaps indicates that there may be a question mark over Thomas Luluai perhaps retiring. Zach Hardacre rumoured to be back to Castleford. I know that's been that's been squashed a few times. But Matt says he's trying to get on, but I found he didn't allow customers to wear headphones because it's antisocial. I mean, yeah, right. Keep trying, Matt. Keep trying. Josie says he would like to play at fullback, but will play anywhere. He said, yeah, I mean, what a problem to have for the rest of the season. Again, a signal of intent from Wigan. Are you surprised that we've managed to sign somebody of, you know, the stats that he's got? I'll just pop them on the screen now. 47 NRL appearances and 35 tries. That's pretty prolific in the NRL.
Yeah, that's top draw, like, isn't it? Yeah, you know what I mean. At the end of the day, if you've got, I will say this, any sports team, if you've got players waiting in the wings, you've got to earn your place. Well, why not do that? Because at the end of the day, points make prizes, and prizes make trophies. So do it. Do you know what I mean? Definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You know.
Phil says allowing Zach to leave would be criminal. Yeah, it is. It's a rumour that has been quashed by Phil Wilkinson on Twitter earlier on this week. But somebody rightly pointed out that Phil was very wrong about Bevan French as well. He said there was nothing in the Bevan French deal, and here he is wearing number 43 for Wigan. So yeah, it's it's a strange one with Zach Hardacre. I wouldn't sort of just dismiss it straight away. It would be criminal to let him leave, and you would be incredibly disappointed in Zach Hardacre if he did want to leave. The amount of investment that we're going to put into him over the past year in, getting him back there. Phil again says French to be at 6 next season. Now, this sort of goes against your desire, I guess, Stu, to see Jared Samet playing more. But Jackson Hastings and Bevan French at 6 and 7 next year, would you like to see that, or are you sticking with Samet?
I would do that, definitely. And let's put our little Maltese gem on the bench. Definitely. Because when he's come on, we've kicked into gear, bang, and we've done it. I don't know if you were seeing it, Sean, on Sky, but when I was at the match on the last game, he's organising, he was barking at them, he was telling them where to go. It was honestly, it was brilliant to see it. I'm not knocking George Williams. He doesn't think it as much, but he was, honest to God, it was good to see it. He was telling them where to go. It was brilliant, man. It was just gobbing up time at them, brilliant.
His kicking game as well has been something that we've been missing quite a bit. I put Anthony's comment on screen there saying, "Do we know why he's left Parramatta?" I think that's a really good question. If anybody knows the answer to that, because with that record that I've just put on, 35 tries and 47 appearances, the question's got to be asked why is he not getting in the Parramatta team, or why is he not attracting another NRL contract? If we wanted to be critical about it, but I think we have a right to maybe sort of want to understand that.
Sean, did he ever play in the same team as Jared Hayne? Or do you not know that now?
I would assume so, because Jared Hayne went back to Parramatta, didn't he? So, because Jared Hayne, I remember Jared Hayne signed for Gold Coast. Did he sign for Gold Coast when Dan Sargent signed or something? Dan Sargent. But if anybody knows the answers to that, please pop it in the comments.
Our friend Mark will know. Mark Illingworth, Page. He knows everything, doesn't he?
Yeah, Stato. We should have got Stato on. Hasn't Bevan signed now because he's the only way he could get a visa regarding appearances last year? Peter says, that's exactly why we've got him now. And I think the other thing what we're going to have said as well is they could only get him now because of Talima Tausai leaving, and it probably adds that. Sorry, I'm choking. That actually probably puts a little bit of better understanding as to why we didn't manage to get Mitch Clark now as well, and why he's at Leigh. Because perhaps if we would have got Mitch Clark now, that would have scuppered any deal to get Bevan French next year. So that's starting to play a little bit. Mitch Clark, what was he, sin-binned within his first couple of minutes for Leigh at the weekend as well. So that's a good sign of things to come. A little bit of aggression. There we go. I knew Jimmy would have the answer. So the reason why he left Parramatta was because he wanted to play full-back and not on the wing. There you go. So that's your answer. Andrew Hunt says he's impressed with Bevan French already. He lands at 7:30 a.m. and goes straight into training. Yeah, it's pretty good, isn't it? I mean, whether we can sort of took him there and he didn't have a choice, but he spoke on if anybody's not seen the videos, or on the Wigan Twitter and Facebook pages and on the website, he speaks, he's very proud to be there. He mentions conversations that he's had with Pat Richards as well, which is always a good sign. We're still waiting for Matt to join us.
The Swans have got him, Sean. They kidnapped him. The Swans
have got him in. God knows where he is in York. And how long he's been in a pub in York as well. Maybe one of the questions. So we'll we'll touch back on Bevan French again as and when Matt joins us, if he does join us. Hull FC, Stu. It's a strange one this week, isn't it? Because we've had lots of time to prepare. A lot of the Wigan players went on holiday in that first week. Lots of them on Instagram in various different places around the world. So we had a bit of a refresh. Compare that with Hull FC, who had a brutal semi-final against Warrington, which was a really good watch in tough conditions. Again, good account for themselves. And then they've got a short turnaround, haven't they? So from Saturday to Thursday, how much do you think that mental load and physical load that's going to be placed on Hull might affect them tomorrow night?
I think it's going to be a close game. I really do. I know they say you're resting that, but I don't know. I really don't know. I think we'll sneak it, but I really don't know. I really don't know. I think we will win because our fitness may be coming to the toe at the end, because they're a very hard game, as you say, against our friends from Warrington. So we'll just wait and see on that one. So I think we
So
will win, as you say, but it's going to be a hard game. I think the first 30 minutes, you know what I mean, and then after that's when I think it'll start up and up. You know what I mean?
Phil says Hull were very underwhelming against Warrington. Hope they bring that game on Thursday. Wigan rested, should be good. Mentally, we're in a different place. Yeah, I think we are. It does feel like we're in a different place, and I think we've perhaps, hopefully, got that experience of last year of not being involved in the later stages of the Challenge Cup, and it suited us well last year. We go for a couple of weeks again, and then we've got that rest, bank holiday weekend because of the Challenge Cup final again. So we're getting players back. Sean O'Loughlin's back this weekend, tomorrow night as well. Do you think it'll be interesting to see where Sean O'Loughlin comes back into the team? Whether we're talking about, obviously, Ethan Howard dropped out of the squad. We've got Morgan Smithies and Ollie Partington, who we've raved about on the show. How would you like to see Sean O'Loughlin slot back into the team? Is it a case of you start him at 13, see for as long as he can go, and then make that change? Where would you like to see him?
I'm being nasty. Put him on the bench.
Yeah,
Young Smithies is at the stand in for him, and yeah, he's been a good stalwart for the club. He's been a good lad, but put Young Smithies in, put him on the bench. What a great replacement to bring on for Smithies, and I just think, you know what I mean. The lads, give him a go. Why not? He's like a little terrier, isn't he? You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
He's John Bateman-esque. Do you know what I mean? I've heard a few people saying that the Wakefield game about him. Give him a go, Shauna. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Same with Pat. Put him in as well. With Faddle in the pack. Why not? Give him a go.
I know from the conversation that we had in the interview that we had with Sean O'Loughlin in the fan village that the bench is definitely not the place where he wants to be. So whether as captain he gets a bit of a say in that. For me personally, I would like to see him start at 13 for as long as he can contribute to the game, and then bring him off, and then have him there as that option for the later stages of the game when we might have to see him up. There is this obsession, I think, with Sean O'Loughlin at prop, and I think it's been, we've spoken about that quite a bit as well. And Tony says here, Lockers at prop. It might be something that hopefully we might now have the opportunity to do, whilst we've still got a few injuries in that front row. And we know that how good Morgan Smithies is at 13. We've got Liam Farrell, who can obviously fill in there as well, who's in fantastic form. That might now actually become a little bit more of a reality for Sean O'Loughlin at prop. Brandon keeps asking this question. I'm not ignoring you, Brandon, but it just takes us a little bit off topic. So what do you think about the end of season playoff thing for playoff at end for top 5? I'm not too sure what that means, other than we'll start talking about the playoffs. So in terms of where Wigan are now and where Hull are, so Hull are obviously a little bit above us. They've now not got the pressure of the cup. It's all or nothing. I think Phil just put on here about, has Radford signed for next year? Because I don't think he has. So that adds a little bit of pressure to him. You've got to think with the recruitment that Hull have done for next year as well. They've spent a bit of money recruitment for next year. Where does that pressure lead? So in terms of Wigan, they've got, you would say, a favourable run-in. We play Warrington just before Warrington play in the Challenge Cup final. We've got Hull KR at home again next week. Where do you see Wigan finishing? Is second too ambitious? Now got to be the target for Wigan.
The second or fourth, because one at home draw, don't we? You know what I mean? Is that how it works? I don't know. I'm just going back to the old top 5 thing how it used to work. First...
Well, I mean, if you finish in the top 2, you get a shot at the grand final straight away, don't you? So, I mean, ultimately, if you finish second, you've got to go to St Helens and you get a shot to get to Old Trafford. If you lose that, you then get another chance, and you'll be playing at home all the way through to the grand final. So, I think...
And I'll be honest with you, Sean. Sorry for interrupting. I'll be honest with you. It's very doable when you look at our fixtures. Do you know what I mean? It's very doable.
I think what makes it more achievable now is the fact that Warrington have got to Wembley as well, and we've seen over the past 10 years or even longer that Wembley has an effect on teams, whether you win it or not. Beforehand and after the game, again, like we said for Hull FC, physically and mentally, it will have an effect. So whether there's that opportunity there for Wigan, and Warrington haven't particularly been, as good as perhaps they think they are, or as good as they could be at the start of the season. So there is that opportunity there to get into that top 2. But top 3, I think, has certainly got to be achievable. As Josie says, we've got a better points difference than Hull. She thinks that we're on plus, we're on minus. I think you're right there. I mean, how good would that be if we could sneak into the top 2 and play St Helens at their place, knowing that if we win, we get to Old Trafford. If we lose, we're at home. We've got home games to secure it. So, again, I feel like I'm putting the same comments from people on all the time, so I apologise if you've seen the same names. But Phil says I'd be happy with 3rd. We haven't beaten top 3 yet this year, have we? So if we beat Hull and Warrington in the last few fixtures, we've got a good shout. So yeah, that's a really good point, isn't it? We need to start showing that we can beat the teams above us and starting tomorrow night with Hull. I can break the news to you that I'm going to bring Mr. Matt McCauley onto the screen at some point. Here he is. Matt, are you well? Where are you?
I'm in York, actually. I'm in a beer garden of a very nice pub.
Is there any beer left?
Got a pint of Black Sheep here. I can see through it. That's a good sign. Have you heard the news, though? Bevan French has signed.
Has he?
He has, literally, honestly.
Okay.
And wait, there's more. There's more. Right? You know George Burgess?
I've heard of him.
Also signed.
Wow. How long have you been in a pub, Matt?
Which particular pub are we talking about?
How long have you been in various pubs?
I have been researching lots of pubs in York.
Yeah.
Because for those people who are going to Hull, they might want to also go to York because it's not that far away.
Okay, fair enough.
And the pubs are good. But Bevan French, eh? Wow.
Does your family know where you are?
No, I am in so much trouble.
And is that a hood on the side of your shoulder?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I think that says
everything. Doesn't make me a bad person.
It doesn't make you a bad person.
I'm on holidays. You've got to have a cacool.
Yeah, I would like to do Wigan Fan TV in the morning and see how you are then.
Do you know what?
Do it.
Mr. Lawless, can I just say, the reason that I have come here to York today is because I owe my family one. Because the last time we came to York, the night before, I went out to watch a rugby game. I believe it was Wigan versus Leeds. And you got me so drunk that I couldn't function the next day. So I've had to bring them back to York.
Just to reminisce.
Just to do all the things I was meant to do with them the first time.
Right, Matt, it's all over to you now because we've discussed George Burgess, we've discussed Bevan French. We started with George Burgess. Give us your thoughts on that, first of all. We've heard of it. We had an inkling, but give us your thoughts, Matt.
Bloody-tastic. I mean, it's like we needed a decent prop because we've only got 4 decent props, so you need 5, and now we've got 6. This is like the best news ever, and it's not just Burgess, is it? It is French, Ray French. No, hang on, not Ray. Bevan French, and we've got 2 really classy players. But as I said, the fact that we picked these players up, okay, on their own, yeah, they're great signings, but they're not going to win the league for us. It is the fact that we've got all this underlying talent as well, and the likes of Navarrete and Escaré.
No.
Ban that
word. That word is banned on this show.
Is it? Oh,
yes.
Sorry, I've been busy in York. But we've got all this talent already. That this is the icing on the pie cake.
I'm getting a little bit suspicious, Matt, because to me, that doesn't look like a beer garden. That looks like a back alley. Are you sure you're in a beer garden?
Hey, beer garden, back alley. Look,
there you go. It's busy.
Yeah, that's why I'm out here.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So if anybody is looking for you, which pub exactly are you in?
I have no idea what it's called. Just don't go in the Trafalgar Bay, because not only do they ban headphones, they also tell you that the beer you've just bought is awful, and then they say no swearing too.
Okay. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah. Okay, Matt, your thoughts on? So you've given us your thoughts on George Burgess and Bevan French.
Yeah.
I can't believe of all the choice. You've gone for Black Sheep as well, which I'm a little bit disappointed that you've gone for that after you've been sending us pictures of the cloudy stuff that you've been drinking. Yeah. Give us your thoughts on tomorrow night. You are going to be in the Yorkshire somewhere, perhaps not being able to watch it yourself because you're going to be in the middle of nowhere.
Probably underwater too.
Okay. Yeah, it has been very, very wet up here. Now we're trying to get so people are now playing. Guess which pub Matt is in. Peter asks, "Are you in the Lamb and Lion?" Does that ring a bell?
No.
Okay, let's carry on playing. Guess the pub. If you think you know that pub from what you've just seen, let us know. So Matt, yeah. So obviously Hull FC semi-final at the weekend. How big an effect do you think that might have on the game tomorrow night?
Well, it's it's a Radford side, isn't it? So they're going to be physically big, probably a bit quick, but entirely clueless. I
Missing some
I
teeth.
don't know. Yes, definitely. What bothers me is our lack of forwards. Still, I think we are still very light. However, has anybody noticed that Navarrete is actually playing quite well again?
Nope. I don't think
Yeah, he is.
Adrian Lamb even noticed.
He is playing quite well again.
Okay.
He's getting sent off at just the right time in each game. So I reckon it's going to come down to the last 20 minutes, isn't it? If we can hold them to very close for 60 minutes, if they get away from us by maybe a maximum of 12 points, then I reckon the last 20 minutes we can get it back. Anything over that, I think it's going to be their game. So it's going to come down to how well we defend and that last 20 minutes.
Phil Howarth says, "Are you in the Queen Vic?"
No, she'd have noticed.
Peter Meadows says Golden Ball. Now I think he might mean Golden Point, but that could be a good name for a pub. Are you in the Golden Ball?
I'm not in the Golden Ball, but I have one or two.
This is a good name for a pub. Samet Must Start. Are you in the Samet Must Start?
That is it.
That is the one. That is the one. That rings a bell now. Okay, let's. So we've discussed, I think, the major issues of this. Now, Stu, you'll be glad to know, Matt, I asked you at the start of the show about George Burgess. It was complimentary about him. We didn't have. I thought of all the people that wouldn't be happy about George Burgess signing, it might be Stu, but I think it's actually David Bailey who's negative about it. It's just a shame that we can't get it on.
Not happy, is he?
David's not happy about it for some reason, but. Let's sort of get some score predictions from people. Stu, tomorrow night, I think, if I remember rightly, didn't you predict a Wakefield win last time?
Mm-hmm.
Did you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember that. And what did I predict?
You said it was going to be another summer easy rugby, and it happened.
Yeah, okay.
That's 2 in a row, Sean, so you be careful.
Before I get you, Josie's actually done this right. She's blanked the name out. So a French player has just tweeted he's not going anywhere next year and he's staying to fight for his place. So there you go. Breaking news from Josie there. Right. Stu, because you're so good at predictions, give us your prediction for tomorrow night.
29-18.
29-18 to Wigan.
Mm-hmm.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay, you just seem it feels like you're being kicked by somebody. You weren't too sure on that. Matt, score prediction.
Okay, this is my positivity score prediction, I reckon Wigan 20, Hull 16.
Okay, I'm going for. I don't think Hull physically and mentally are going to be there tomorrow night. I think the turnaround's far too short to come back from from a semi-final. So I'm going Hull 4. Well, actually, they got Mark Sneed, haven't they? Let's be nice. Hull 6.
5. Oh, right, okay.
Hull 6. Wigan 26. It's going to be,
Wow.
a good.
I'm hoping that is a score.
Optimistic.
Hang on a second. Excuse me. What's the name of this pub? It's the Bay Horse. Yeah. Yes, thank you.
The Bay Horse. If we would have carried on, I mean, Red Lion, Bay Horse, Black Horse. I mean, we should have gone for typical names, really, shouldn't we? So anybody in the York area, that's where Matt is. Somebody requested that your carers were informed, Matt, so we can inform your carers exactly where you are.
I'll tell you what. I just went to a pub called, I think it's called the Artful Dodger. I have no idea what they gave me to drink in there, but I reckon I'll wake up a vampire because it was lovely stuff.
There's isn't the pub just Guy Fawkes' birthplace or something? Have you been into that one yet?
He was born in a pub.
Yeah, apparently.
Excellent.
I mean, you can try and find that one.
I still have my wife and kids with me when I walk past that one, so I couldn't go in.
Phil Howarth is now having a guest saying, "Is it the Bay Horse?"
Phil, hi, that guy's a genius.
Matt, not to put you under pressure, but normally when we have an away game, you have a nice tour for us for Hull. Now, without any preparation, with the coat on inside out and the hood on hanging off your shoulder, with a bright green top on, and you've been drinking since 10 a.m. Would you like to give us a bit of an insight to York or Hull? I mean, the screen is yours for the next few minutes.
Well, as you may or may not know, I did my teacher training in Hull, which is why I've nearly been sacked 5 times. But I'll tell you one wonderful thing about Hull, and that is it is so close to York. And York is a lovely place. It's got the Bay Horse pub, which has got an amazing beer garden, and a really very decent pint of
Black Sheep. Black
Sheep, but it's got John Smith's written on it, but it's actually Black Sheep, and it is lovely. And I just wish I could at least watch the game on TV tomorrow, but I can't because I'm on my holiday and my wife will kill me.
We'll get the violins out for you.
Thank you.
Yeah, okay. Stu, thank you. I think we've got to leave it there because the longer we go on, the more Matt's going to drink, and the more that it's out there for. Peter Meadow says KFC's round the corner, Matt.
Yes, that doesn't make it any better, does it?
I think he's suggesting that you might want to go and get some fried chicken to sober up.
That's like saying to somebody on cocaine, look, you can also have heroin. Okay. That's not helping.
Okay. Right, I think we should end it there because this is on the internet, isn't it? So to the Cyberman in the middle, Stu, thank you for taking the time from your evening to join us. Matt, thank you for joining us eventually. Try not to get kicked out of any more pubs. And when you walk into the next pub, have a read of the sign and so you know what it's called before you enter. Okay, I'll do that next time. Just allows you to be safe later on when your carer comes to pick you up. Everybody, thank you for joining us. We'll be back next week, and hopefully we might have a little surprise for you at the game next week against Hull KR. We can't say too much yet, but hopefully we may have a little surprise up our sleeves. So thank you for watching us, and we will see you next week. Thanks, guys.